Gardeners everywhere want reliable methods to get consistent, heavy harvests without depending on costly fertilizers or unpredictable modern inputs. One method that has stood the test of time comes from traditional Japanese farmers, who developed a soil practice so effective that it turned even poor ground into fields capable of producing abundant crops season after season. This method is not a passing trend. It is a centuries-old approach rooted in observation and practical soil science. Today we'll uncover what this Japanese secret is, how it works, and how you can apply it in your own garden step by step for unbelievable results. The method is called bokashi, and it transforms waste into living soil food. The secret is bokashi, an ancient Japanese fermentation technique that breaks down organic matter in a way that preserves nutrients and creates a living soil amendment. Unlike regular composting, which relies on aerobic decomposition, bokashi is an anaerobic fermentation process. Farmers discovered that by fermenting kitchen scraps and plant waste with bran inoculated with beneficial microbes, they could create a concentrated fertilizer that worked faster and retained more nutrients. The fermentation process doesn't release nutrients into the air like traditional composting, meaning nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium remain in the material. When added to soil, bokashi acts as both food for microbes and a direct nutrient source for plants. The result is soil that comes alive with activity, creating the perfect conditions for strong root growth and, consistent harvests. Traditional compost piles require space, air, and time. They also lose a significant amount of nitrogen through volatilization, and if managed poorly, they attract pests or take too long to break down. Bokashi, on the other hand, works in sealed containers so it doesn't produce odors or attract flies. The fermentation process takes only 2 to 3 weeks, after which the material can be buried directly in the soil or added to compost to accelerate its breakdown. This efficiency meant Japanese farmers could continuously recycle organic matter without long waiting periods. In practice, bokashi not only fed crops but also restored soil fertility season after season. For modern gardeners, it means you can transform every kitchen scrap, vegetable peels, grains, even small amounts of meat and dairy, into fertilizer without waste. The first step is preparing or buying bokashi bran, which is wheat bran or rice bran inoculated with effective microorganisms such as lactobacillus, yeast, and phototrophic bacteria. You can buy this ready-made or ferment your own using molasses and EM1 culture mixed into bran until it reaches about 30 to 40% moisture. Spread the mixture thinly, let it ferment for about a week, then dry it completely for storage. Alright, so next up, you'll want to gather your kitchen scraps in a bokashi bucket. Start by placing a layer of food waste, then sprinkle a handful of bokashi bran over it and press it down to remove any pesky air pockets. Just keep repeating these layers until your bucket is full. Always remember to press the material tightly and seal the container to maintain those crucial anaerobic conditions. Now, within 2 to 3 weeks, your food scraps will undergo fermentation, transforming into a pickled form rather than rotting away. Quite fascinating, isn't it? At this point, you'll want to dig a trench about 8 to 10 inches deep in your garden soil and bury the fermented matter. Make sure to cover it well with soil to keep the air out. In about 2 to 3 more weeks, soil microbes and worms will work their magic, completely integrating the bokashi into the ground. You'll be left with rich, fertile soil, perfect for planting. Exciting times ahead. For small gardens, a single 5-gallon bucket system is often enough to keep a steady supply of bokashi fertilizer flowing. It's a good idea to rotate between 2 buckets so that one ferments while the other fills. For larger plots, you can scale up by using 20-gallon containers and burying the fermented material in rows during crop rotations. A practical ratio to follow is 1 gallon of fermented bokashi matter per 3 square feet of garden bed. For fruit trees, dig several holes around the drip line, place about 2 cups of bokashi matter in each, and cover with soil. Even gardeners working in raised beds can apply bokashi by digging shallow trenches and burying the fermented scraps before replanting. The rapid decomposition cycle means you don't lose a whole season waiting for the soil to recover. Beyond the immediate fertility boost, bokashi builds long-term soil health. The microbial inoculants encourage a thriving soil food web, which improves structure, moisture retention, and disease resistance. Gardeners who use bokashi consistently notice darker, looser soil that holds water more effectively and supports healthier crops. One of the biggest advantages is how bokashi closes the loop on waste. Instead of throwing out food scraps, everything is recycled into the soil, mimicking the natural nutrient cycle of forests and fields. Over time, this reduces dependency on purchased fertilizers while steadily increasing soil productivity. The result is the kind of consistent, unbelievable harvest that Japanese farmers relied on for centuries. The ancient Japanese secret for unbelievable harvests every time isn't a mysterious formula. It's bokashi, a fermentation method that turns every scrap of organic matter into soil food, builds microbial life, and creates lasting fertility. By learning this simple technique and applying it regularly, any gardener can transform their soil into a living system capable of producing heavy, reliable harvests season after season. If this guide has given you a clear method to improve your soil and boost your yields, share it with other gardeners who could benefit, and subscribe to Soil Doctor for more proven techniques that bring life back to the ground.